I started completely in a complete different. Our family business is fashion retail. I decided we sell the business and we exit. So we exited. I felt Jordan is claustrophobic for me. I felt that I cannot grow. It's a small place and I had bigger ambitions. And I decided to come to Dubai. Third time in my life, I have to go back to zero. We sat and we ordered and the dish came and I was like, my God, I've never seen anything like this. You know, the visual identity of these dishes was mind-blowing.
What restaurant was this?
In Dubai, you're like driving on first gear all the time. There is no chance that you relax. You know, if you want to have siesta and sleep between 4 to 6, go to Spain. Don't come to Dubai.
Has something changed now?
Slowly with time, you start to learn, one, to be wiser, to be less emotional. The biggest learning was for me is the team that you surround yourself.
A lot of brands fail because, they couldn't localize, because they couldn't rally their partners to do the right thing.
We get 4 to 5 franchise requests per day, and we get 4 to 5 signings per year.
Hi, welcome to Restrocast. Today, on the pod, we have Amjad Barakat, who's the co-founder and CEO at Brunch Cake, a Spanish origin brand that is really doing great stuff in the world. With 28 stores in 6+ countries already, Amjad is not only taking Brunch Cake, at full speed. I think the best part of this story, this conversation is about Amjad's spirit of entrepreneurship, getting bankrupt almost, 3 times, but each time rising from the ashes, bigger, better, wiser, and wealthier. He's a fun guy, but at the same time, somebody who calls himself risk taker all the time. But I saw somebody who has an eye for concepts, who has an eye for hospitality, eye for things that really work. And through this story, you will see that coming to life, multiple times in his journey. This is an inspiring conversation. Every entrepreneur must watch. Welcome to Restrocast. Amjad, welcome to Restrocast.
Thank you.
Amjad, congratulations on all the success that is coming your way with
Thanks.
Brunch Cake. But, we would like to know, how it all started. My thesis is that people rarely choose, restaurant industry thinking, through what they're choosing. They generally fall into it. So I would like to know what's your story, because I believe that it must be no different.
Well, buckle up. So I started completely in a complete different business. Our family business is fashion retail. My dad was in watch business in the 70s. He lived in Kuwait, then in Palestine, then Egypt, then Kuwait, then Dubai, actually in the 60s, and then
In the 60s?
yeah. And then because Kuwait and Dubai was, common ground. And then he went, all my brothers are born and raised in Beirut. And then before the war, we left again. He went to Jordan and he started more in fashion retail. So we were brought into high-end fashion retail, Canali, Brioni, all the high-end men's fashion wear. So at the age of 16, I looked like an Italian mobster, full-on tailored suits. And this was the family business. And my dad was, where we come from in Palestine, is known to be purely businessmen. It's all entrepreneurs. It's one of the most business-savvy cities in history. So
You're originally from Palestine?
I'm Palestinian. So, and I was born and raised in Jordan. So we started in fashion retail, and my dad is one of the people that will throw you on your weekends in the shops to work and to learn. So I started working at 15 with my dad, obviously softly. And at the age of 18, he had financial difficulties, so he had to go into a cycle. So what was work for fun became
Job.
became a job and became actually something that I have to do. So I started working very early. That moved into that difficult time. Have created a vacuum that I have to take care of the family business, and I'm the youngest in between my brothers. So I had to start from a couple of million minus to basically go back to zero. So at the age of 24, I managed to reach zero. So I laugh when sometimes people tell you, I started from zero. I said, no, I started from 3 million plus, 3 million minus, sorry. So we've actually kind of started in that. I've made, decent work. I've knew how to maneuver and how to recover. At the age of 24, moved the family business into real estate development. I ran a public listed real estate company within 3 years.
So you started a real estate development company that you listed?
Family, no, yeah. So we grouped up a couple of families and we started a company over there. Then
that was in Jordan.
That was in Jordan, and then it became publicly listed, and I ran it at the age of 27.
Nice.
So, and then I saw no future in overall the economical situation. Jordan is a tough place. So I decided to advise that we sell the business and we exit. So we exited. And then I decided that, I need to start something else, fashion retail.
But I'm sorry, I'm curious. You're saying that Jordan had the opportunity for you to start a company and list and it's in the Jordanian exchange.
Yeah, still is.
So you had the opportunity to start a business and then list it publicly, but you still felt that the economic opportunity was less. The dichotomy is like
in Jordan, you can list a company for $4 or $5 million.
Wow.
Where in anywhere else in the world you do not really qualify. So it's a micro economy. It's a very small country, comes with a lot of baggage, and it's it's home. It's where I was brought.
Sure.
But it has a lot of pressure around it from so many factors, political, economical. So I had to start all over again, and again. As much as I've done, with bringing back our family, putting everything back together, the mentality of a lot of Arabic families, like you either work with the family or you're an outcast. So my dad gave me, and he passed away a couple of years ago. We were very, very close. And he told me, listen, you either work with the family or you need to go build your own thing. So I had to start from scratch for the second time. So, and I didn't have any money. And so I said, okay, well, what would I do? So I went to Kempinski in Jordan. They had a hotel in Amman, which is a corporate hotel. So the pool that they have is very nice, but it's deserted. Nobody sits. Corporate hotels, people go in 1.5 days. They don't really. So I went to the hotel owner and I gave her a proposal to do sort of a pool club on that pool. She loved the idea, but she told me, listen, as much as I like it, I'm the hotel owner, it's still operated by Kempinski. So now you need to go Kempinski. And I was lucky that they had the GM's meeting happening in that hotel like a month after. So she told me the vice president will be there, so you can meet him. I'll give you 5 minutes with him, convince him. If he says yes, it most likely will pass. So I had literally a proper elevator pitch, a 5-minute with the guy. I had all my papers, showed it to him, and he was like, screen through it. He said, I love it, do it. I said, I know. They told me this is not as per the book of Kempinski. So he told me, my friend, I wrote the book. So don't worry about it, go ahead. So we actually did that place. We did $500,000 in our first month. So they used to do $10,000. So it was 50x what they're doing. So
and what year was that?
That was 2008. So all of a sudden, we create this big bang, and we were very visible. And I created that company without investing a single penny. So it was because I cannot rent it, and they have to invest it. It's a management deal. So that were the company name. We called it Flip. So we said we're going to flip places, or we're going to flip failing restaurants. We're going to flip places that do not perform and take it over. So within the first 3 years, we became the largest nightlife operator in the country. We had 11 places, including beach clubs, bars. So Kempinski gave us the whole country. So we had Dead Sea, we have Red Sea, we have another hotel in Jordan called Landmark. We had the pool. So everybody that has a pool wanted to give it to us. Everybody has a rooftop wanted to give it to us. All hotels, which obviously is, they have cash, they have property. And similar to what globally now today, back in the day, they don't want to operate. They don't know how to operate F&B.
What did you do? What does it take to convert a Kempinski who has the infrastructure, who has the right pool, who has, what does it take for you to flip that?
We needed to, it was an empty hotel pool with rattan chairs, with no music, with, a mediocre menu of food. We turned it into a proper, almost nightclub, and we had DJs, we had international DJs coming. We used to do parties for 2,000-3,000 people, which at the time did not exist in Jordan. You don't have these large size clubs. So we managed, it was pretty aggressive at the time for a country like Jordan. They were like, but we were lucky a little bit that the cover of a hotel gives you a lot of pass. You're shielded from many factors. So we did very well. After being, at some point we had a statistic. We used to sell a large number of alcohol on monthly basis. We contributed to 7% of the consumption of all the liquor companies in Jordan.
Oh wow!
So
you were literally getting Jordan drunk, huh?
Yeah. So what I've done after is that I felt Jordan is claustrophobic for me. I felt that I cannot grow. It's a small place, and I had bigger ambition. So we sold, we exited, and I decided to come to Dubai. And it was a all-in strategy. There was no coming back for me. So it was like, I mortgaged my house. I sold everything I have. I took every penny I've made all my life. And I said, okay, Dubai is a different monster when you want to start, the economics is completely different. You cannot build a restaurant here for $200,000-$300,000. So we came in, luckily, we came with a management mindset and consultancy. So we did not start off by opening restaurants. We said, okay, let's learn. So we opened a consultancy firm.
Which year?
2013.
So Dubai was
kind
of taking off.
And I met my partner, actually, my business partner, Jamal, who's Swiss American, born and raised in Palestine, funny enough. And we met through...
Born and raised in Palestine. So
he's 100%
Swiss American.
So he's Swiss American, 100%. His mom is Swiss, his dad is American.
Oh, that right. Okay.
His family was humanitarian, working for the Palestinian cause in Palestine. They dedicated their whole life to the cause, and he was born in so obviously we connected on many levels. And he was working for Kempinski at the time when we met, and he moved to Dubai, and then we talked, and we decided to co-found the consultancy firm here. In the beginning, it gave us a lot of insight. And I think that was a major, I don't know if it was coincidence or, it's definitely not maturity. It was probably a bit of luck, a little bit of fear, a little bit of, mixed factors that we wanted to know a little bit more before we go in. So we started consulting for a lot of groups. We have a decent name within the consultancy. We've done a good track record, but typically you come, they'll tell you, okay, what's your Dubai experience?
Yeah.
So whatever you've done all your life is wiped out because you're, this is the small city and this is a real city, big city. So we've worked, we've learned from what we see, what people did mistakes, First project we took, it was on the boulevard. Someone opened the concept, they showed it to us, and we started to do ground search. And it was like, you know what? What works on the boulevard is Arabic, shisha, which today, if you look 12 years after, it's the dominant concept that on the boulevard. So we started getting all of these leads and consultancies. We got a lot of work in Saudi, and that was a major break for us because Saudi in 2013 was very different and what it is today. We established an office there. We established ourselves, and I was commuting between Dubai and Saudi. My whole network of investors was built in Saudi. So we started building restaurants for big families. One of my incredible supporters and partners is the Rajhi family, who owns the Rajhi Bank in Saudi. So we did for them a small shawarma concept, which today have 12, 15 branches.
What is it called?
Shaziz.
Shaziz.
So we met all of these investors, and you start with small projects with them, and that grew obviously with these are big families, well funded, and so we started off as a partnership or as a consultancy. Then they invested with us, and it became a partnership. And today, he's a very dear friend and very close ally and investor. That I built a lot of their businesses in Saudi, in F&B, and vice versa. So after we did the consultancy, we decided to go into food truck business. So we started in 2016. At the time, it was the hype of all the food trucks, if you remember.
I remember there was this
food truck park, everything they do, Burj Park, and there was
that came up in 2016, 17, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was a dark period. So we decided to bank on that strategy because, food trucks are very attractive. You look at New York, a lot of brands are built of this, and it's a very lucrative business. Sure. So we said we're going to do 10 trucks at the same time. So we built a whole company, said, there's a big gap in the market. Let's dominate that period. And we banked on, we went all in with whatever we have in that strategy. Based on that the rents are very, almost non-existing. People, they have a big event that invite you to come for free because, you have a cool concept. The commercials have changed drastically after. So developers, events started to charge crazy numbers for rentals, which eliminated the business completely. Today, you don't find any truck operating in the other. Salt is a restaurant, that looks like a truck.
But I used to wonder, I remember, these emotions back in 2016, 17. Isn't food truck business, that too in Dubai or overall Middle East, simply means that you are wiping out the summer's business?
Yes and no. I'll tell you, food truck business has major issues because of weather. So first of all, summer is completely wiped out, as you said. But as well, it's also weekly only event business. It's difficult to maintain. A food truck, first of all, the rental brackets that the developers put on it was very difficult for anyone to make money. The second thing, seasonality is very harsh. You're already working only on weekends because, yes, if you do 10% or 20% of your revenue during the week, you still have 20% is a big bracket in your overall P&L. But if you work only on weekends and not all weekends, and it's tough. In London or in New York, it works because it's an everyday business. You have a business tower, it's in front of your tower, and the rent, it's paid to municipality, and it's like $10,000 a year, and you have to bid for it. And while here, it became, Dubai is a strong, hot city, and developers do not really joke. So it becomes much faster, much more, and the numbers that they were putting was so difficult. So anyway, this whole business got wiped out. So for the third time in my life, I have to go back to zero. So, and this time after being relatively established. So we almost bankrupt that company. And had to figure it out. So, we went to our partners and investors and we said, okay, this has happened. We tried everything. We've done everything we can. They're obviously, they're sophisticated investors. They know that, this is not something that was caused by us. This was caused by the whole demographics of this business. So we needed to dissolve this business. So we started selling these trucks. And we sold them very fast. And we said, wow, that actually might be interesting. So, so we started buying trucks from China and selling them because we saw that there is a demand and we cannot, we just sold all our trucks. So that failing venture started to be something called Bespoke Trailers. And that company, we started importing trucks and selling them. And, here, Saudi, it became lucrative. COVID came. That was another difficult part. We had a contract from Abu Dhabi, from one of the big developers, to build. We're good. Me and Jamal, as we say, we can sell sand to Bedouins. So, so we managed to convince, because obviously we come from a hospitality background. So, when a factory that want to sell a truck or a modular house or a fabricated prefab. We'll present it to you in somehow, and you're just going to get a guy that works in a factory to sell it to you. And while me and Jamal, we go and we sell it to you, it's a completely different part. So we managed to get a big contract to build 40 room hotel in Abu Dhabi. So it was a big contract, and obviously
during COVID.
And there was a factory. The biggest factory of food trucks in town in Dubai was, and they suffered because there is no business. So the shark mind started, to click in, and we went in with that contract. We told them, give us 51. They were suffering. And we told them, listen, this could be this, this contract could save your company, but we're not going to do it for free. So give us 51% of your factory. We will run it. We will manage it. And we both get something out of it. So we did that deal in COVID, in lockdown. We met the guy, we took those apps and, you need to go to the supermarket. We met behind closed doors. And we managed to do this deal in COVID. And we got in, we executed that contract. This company today has 500 employees. And is a 10,000 square meter factory. It's called BMS, Bespoke Modular Solutions. And we work with everyone. We work with Abu Dhabi, Dubai. We export. It's quite a sizable business today.
It's a food truck manufacturing?
Is a modular construction. So we moved from trading. We moved from bankruptcy to trading to modular construction. We didn't know anything about construction. So when we bought in, we had to remodel the business. And today it's a full-on blown joinery. We do many restaurants in Dubai. We build off-site hotels. So we build, stuff for...
So this is like what? I mean, explain more. Is it like a prefab?
Yeah, it's a 3x6 LGS models. So you basically, it's like Lego. You can connect them near each other. And you can build a 3,000 square meter hotel by connecting them side by side. But the nice thing about it, the complexity, if you want to build in the world, is that you have to carry steel, cement,
Sure.
people. You have to, it's complex. While we build it offsite completely, ACs, units, floor, ceiling, even furniture.
Yeah, a single unit.
A 3x6 get carried out on a big trailer, and we just move it and assemble it on site. So we're building a lot of stuff now in Ras Al Khaimah, in the world. We do some stuff for Abu Dhabi. We're doing some stuff for Al Ula. We're doing a lot Red Sea, Neom. We're doing a lot. It became a very sizable business.
Nice.
But it was born out of bankruptcy. It was born out of challenge there. So
That is amazing.
thanks. So
And you continue to hold 51%?
yeah, we own slightly more now. and we acquired some shares. But Jamal, led by my partner Jamal. Funny enough, Jamal is a Lausanne graduate, hospitality guy that runs restaurant. I used to know real estate. I run the restaurant predominantly, and Jamal runs the factory. Nothing makes sense in what we do.
That is amazing. That is some story, Amjad.
Thanks.
And then how did you land onto Brunch and Cake?
So we found our foot a little bit after that shake in the food truck business, and we got a bit of stable ground. And me and Jamal, we were in Barcelona. We got a lot. Me and him, we traveled sometimes to Ibiza, and on the way back, we saw a massive queue in London. You see a lot of restaurants with queue. In Barcelona, not as much at the time. So we saw this massive queue, and we were like, we're nosy people by nature. So we decided to peek and say, okay, let's stand in this queue. And it was very interesting. So literally, all around the block. So we stood in line, and it was very cool. They brought for us those small drinks and cookies, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then we got our seat, we sat, and we ordered, and the dish came, and I was like, my God, I've never seen anything like this. The visual identity of these dishes was mind-blowing.
What restaurant was this?
Brunch and Cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Brunch and Cake is born in Barcelona in 2010. We saw it in 2018. So, and they had 4 branches at the time in Barcelona, and they had weird stuff. So if the queue goes very, very long in one of the branches, they had drivers to take you for free from one branch in order to push you to the other outlet.
That is super cool.
So they were like, if you don't want to wait, there is a branch which is 10 minutes away, and we can put you in this taxi, and they bulk for 5 people. And we're like, this is so weird. And
that sounds like, Brunch and Cake wasn't like gothic or...
Yeah, it was very hippie. The founder, Malik, is a very good friend. Is a wanderer. Lucky guy. He works 3 months a year, and he surfs 9 months a year. So he's a surfer who goes to Bali, Australia, and that's what forged his. If you look at Brunch and Cake today, is a surf Bali Barcelona vibe. which he created. He's an interior designer by profession. He's a very successful. He used to work with Lazaro, which is one of the top designers in Europe, and he created this aesthetics. And because he's so good at design, he designed these dishes, and we were completely locked up that we want to do this venture. It took us 9 months to get him to the table. I used to send a friend of mine who used to live in Barcelona, and he goes every week. And we were like, man, we need to get to talk to this guy. He's traveling. No, he's in Australia.
You literally waited for 9 months for him to come back from surfing?
I stalked him for 9 months, to be precise. So, and after that, I was like, I cannot get this guy to coordinate. So I went, I found his name through an article. I added him on Facebook. I sent a message in Spanish. I told him, listen, bro, I'm about to get inspiration from what you do and try and do my own version of this brand because I like it so much. But I'm serious. I want to do business. And this is the last message I send. If you don't want to do this, then finish. I move. So he sent me a message with his number. I called him the next day. He said, listen, I get a lot of people. They call me all the time. I'm not interested. I told him, let's meet up. He told me, okay, come to Barcelona. I told him, I'll come tomorrow. I flew, met with the guy. 3 days, refused to speak about business. They were like, okay, I need to like you first. I was like, okay. So we hanged out for 3 days. And he gave me 5 minutes to do a deal. He told me, listen, I don't like to do business. He told me, listen, I make enough money. I drive a bicycle. I have a small house. I have no interest. And I make a lot of money for what I do. I don't know where to spend it. So I'm not interested in, you making my life complicated. Give me a good deal. In 5 minutes, we either do a good deal or we gain the friendship and we walk away. So I thought, okay, I want all JCC and this is what I'm willing to pay. And we shook hands in 5 minutes and the deal was concluded. We started. And, we did the commercials, finalized the legal, and opened Brunch Cake in Wassel 51.
Wow.
At the beginning, when we opened it, we didn't know how, Barcelona is not a very on the map for GCC. It's not London, it's not Paris, it's not Vienna. So people here, it's a very hippie kind of city. So
Barcelona has its own bubble and its own liking, and
it's a different style.
Correct. It's not aspirational that something is in Barcelona.
No,
it's gonna make it in the world.
Very, very little. And chefs, yes, you have big names, but not actual restaurants.
Right.
So when we opened it, we hoped for the best. We liked the product, we liked everything about it, but we didn't know if people really knew it. So first day, I said, okay, we don't open the terrace. We had almost 70 seats inside. Let's keep it tight. First day, we had 120 covers. I said, fantastic, it's a good start. Second day, we had around 180. Third day, we had 1,000. Fourth day, we had 1,200.
Covers.
It means
like
that
you did 10,
we
15
had
rounds
almost 18 rounds of seating. So
how and why?
I have no clue. We were shocked. We were like, okay, where is this people? We could not cope, obviously, with the traffic because we were not prepared for it. And people were queuing for 3 hours. We need to kill this queue. I was like, we started telling people 3 hours. They said, okay, we'll wait. I was like, what? Go home. We cannot tolerate. We cannot cope with it. So I took over. We had an operations manager. Everything. I said, okay, we manage it Lebanese restaurant style. One waiter per table. We had something called Formula One team. So we had 3 people. The moment you lift yourself out of the table, they will attack the table, clean, move, shovel, in order to flip tables faster. We worked for 16 hours shifts for a period of a month. Everyone, including the chef, including the whole team. I was giving away massage vouchers to some of the team just, to diffuse their stress. It was amazing. It's the best problem in the world to have. But it definitely wasn't expected.
That is really crazy to hear.
Yeah. So obviously we knew that the brand or the people that visited, and obviously the echo was a little bit bigger than what we.
But I'll still double tap on this. What do you think was the reason? Because this kind of, and that too happening in Dubai, I don't really think that's simple, because Dubai has no dearth of new places and fancy places to go to. What worked? What happened?
Instagram. It's at the time there was very few Instagrammable
2019
dishes. 2019. So at the time, the visual identity for people was like, okay, that knew this is very trendy. And obviously 2019 was also not today. There was a lot of concepts. So there was a lot of, there's many successful restaurants, but not in that category specifically, and that visual identity was very, very strong. So we rode the wave. 5 months later, COVID happened. But good that we were very well funded, because we have strong partners at the time, still is, and our plan was to open 5. So we had the funding to open 5, and we can hang on. So we're risk takers. In COVID, I've done most of the deals. I'm one of the people that really milked COVID. I bought my house in COVID. I bought real estate in COVID. I bought my house. If you look at the listing, it's the cheapest deal ever bought in the category of that house. I went in lockdown. Instead of going to Spinneys, I went to see the guy, and every time I get those permissions to leave the house in order to facilitate the deal. So COVID, I'm a positive guy by nature. Like, okay, if we're gonna die, we're gonna die. So finished. So I'm not gonna worry about the loan after I die. So, and if I'm gonna survive, I better, this is the bottom rock. So I saw that and I said, okay, let's. So we opened 3 restaurants in COVID. Went to developers. Everyone is negative. Nobody wants to invest. Nakheel helped us. We got 2 locations with Nakheel in COVID. CapEx deals, low rent, support. So we negotiated very, very good deals in COVID. And we said, okay, this is it. And this is the break I'm looking for. And if I don't benefit from it now, I'm never going to make it. So we said, okay, all in one more time. And we went in and it worked. And we managed to get 1 restaurant in Abu Dhabi with Addar, Dubai 2 restaurants with Nakheel. And the moment the market recovered, and we're lucky Dubai was one of the most organized countries in this. And, COVID was a bump. Actually, it was a positive thing after it recovered. Everybody wanted to come here because...
And I think COVID here recovered very, very fast because I remember, our business Dubai was the first one for us to see the recovery.
Yeah. It was 40. Nobody had it. Hong Kong is
under
suffering
6 months. Dubai was back.
Yeah.
The movement was on and business was doing decent.
Yeah. No. It recovered fast, and we built the foundation in COVID. We started. We got the deal of the factory in COVID. We got so I built a good base in.
So you were doing this parallelly. On one side, the factory thing was going on. On the other side, you were bringing Brunch and Cake here.
Yeah. So we've done well establishing the business there, and then in COVID as well. Manix, the previous founder, he said, "Listen, I'm annoyed by those 3 months, and I have to deal with you guys. I have to go to Saudi. I have to because we're expanding the brand, and it's a franchise." So I said, why don't you buy it? You know what you're doing. You've done well with the brand. I love what you've done in terms of remodeling the brand for Dubai and for the rest of the world.
Was he involved?
He was very involved. No, he was very involved because he used to design every outlet. He's involved in the culinary, but he doesn't like to be bothered. He wants to serve and live life. So
proper hippie.
Yeah, it's lucky him. So what we've done, we managed to get to a deal to buy the brand in 2021. So we did a reverse acquisition, bought the brand, and now we own it globally. And since then, we started scaling it and, obviously signing countries like India, we have Turkey, Greece, and then, we opened Saudi, Egypt, Bahrain, and started to remodel the brand for a proper global expansion. Obviously, when you have full ownership of it, refining, tuning, changing the strategy, the franchise model. How do we go global? How do we build and anchor certain cities in order to have echo globally? So, and it was a major break for us. This was one big thing, and we loved the brand, and we've been pushing it since then.
How many stores now?
We have 28 globally today. We have signed 32 more. So we will hopefully within the next 5 years, if without signing anything, we will get to 60. We have signing all the time. We're giving birth now to a new brand under Brunch and Cake. It's called Olas. Olas will be our counter service, a brand like the looks of Starbucks and the Joe and the Juice, and cool, edgy, still surf vibe, very, very modern, California style, healthy a little bit. We have 40-50%, collagen shots, protein shakes, big variety, and we're planning to open X3, what we do in every country. So we have 180 stores planned.
But a smaller format, like
much smaller. Yeah, we do anywhere between 30 and 75 to 100 square meter max.
Right now with Brunch and Cake?
With Olas. Yeah.
With Olas. And is the first Olas live?
The first Olas, we've opened it. It's a lab currently behind closed doors. We have 2 in Egypt. We have Al Zahia in Sharjah. So we kind of, Dubai still scares me when it comes to business. it's a big city, and there is no joke here. You need to know what you're doing. So we decided to build one, so we know what we're dealing with in Al Zahia in Sharjah, in uptown Al Zahia. So we built an actual store to learn, how can we reach 6 minutes for every order, learn the product, design it, fine tune it. So when we bring it to Dubai, it become version 2.0, not 1.0. We didn't want to. Dubai is unforgiving. If you really don't know where you're stepping, you can, even if you've done it many times, you better be geared up for Dubai business.
Yeah, you sound like a true war survivor. Yeah. But I agree. I think very few people can be this clear and blunt about Dubai, but people really need to. This is the business.
New York
is not
the same. London is the same. If
Absolutely.
big operators.
Yeah, I tell this to people a lot of times that, in Dubai, I've never had a bad food experience of any cuisine of any type, and they'll look at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the thing is that people cannot afford to do bad stuff here. So you just cannot afford. If you're trying to do food in Dubai, you will. I mean, by the time the bill runs up and you realize that what does it take to, do it here, and what does it take to sustain, either you'll pull out in time, or you will do it super good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So and that, by that logic, an average food experience in Dubai is actually notches higher than the best food experience at a lot of places.
Agreed. First of all, you're not competing. If you go to India, you go to Italy, you're competing with Italian brands. You go to India, you're competing with Indian brands. You come to Dubai, you're competing with everyone.
Yeah.
We're competing with the whole world. The best in Spain, the best in Italy, the best in France,
Correct.
The best in the US. So, and the top tier of the category. So if you're not really grinded well to operate and to sustain, you're not going to survive. And here, the people, and yes, it's an entrepreneurial city in every sense, but it's still the top tier of entrepreneurs are coming here. You're still grinding with people that know that what they're doing, and there's no forgiveness here. If you get a slap, it's going to be very difficult to recover. So you better be shaped. But again, with all that difficulties, look at Dubai today. People like an incredible guy, Urfali, who have done wonders. Everything he touches turns into gold. And you put him on any level with any global chef, and you can be very proud of what people are doing. So there is a platform if you want perfection, if you want to really do something and you're serious about business. I laugh. I say, Dubai, you're like driving on first gear all the time. There is no chance that you relax. If you want to have siesta and sleep between 4 to 6, go to Spain. Don't come to Dubai.
That is amazing. Amjad, what has changed as an entrepreneur? This is a fascinating story. And there's a fascinating story because of not only grit and perseverance, but continuously taking risks in the name of opportunity. Has something changed now? Are you, post all this, and now that you're on a rise with Brunch and Cake, you're kind of, found your tune that you feel is scalable and can take you, long. What has changed?
I feel older. No, it's like, what has changed, to be very honest, slowly with time, you start to learn, one, to be wiser, to be less emotional. One of the most things that stuck to my brain, and I use it as a compass in almost everything I do, is a quote. I watch a lot of quotes. I'm fascinated about it. My learnings, funny enough, come because I feel they're very rooted. These are learnings coming throughout history from in every culture you have all of these sayings, and they're very deep if you look at it. And one guy I watched that most of the wrong decisions that you take is based on emotions, not on your heart. If your heart beats your brain into taking a decision, it's most likely going to be a wrong decision. So obviously I matured, became, yes, we're still risk takers, but we have more fear because, when you have nothing to lose, you go all in and you're willing to fight till the end. When you have something now, you've built a base, now you need to be wise on how to keep it, how to preserve it, how to diversify, how to work, and how to have, different segments of the business. And that's why you started, now we have concluded a nice venture in Bali, Indonesia, a partnership that we're very excited about. We started working on building stuff in, even I believe Dubai and Asia is the best place to invest and grow business. But still we diversify and doing a couple of stuff in Europe. So the learning is, one, I have a 4.5-year-old daughter.
Nice.
Which I would love to spend more time. So maybe more family time, less business whenever possible. Try to slow the pace a little bit, travel more. Most of the learnings I have is similar to what we were saying before. Japan trip was for me, I called it a brain stretch trip. I needed to stretch my brain. I needed to see something new. I needed to feel, go out of the boundary of what I know. So I'd love to travel more. I'd love to work a little bit less, maybe. But we're hustlers. This is what we do.
No, even if I feel the vibe. I understand that. Even if you're saying that you'll travel to not work, you will end up figuring out business.
I've never on my honeymoon I did a minor deal.
What about Japan challenged you? What was the discovery?
I think personally, if we have this qualification which I don't agree with, but first world country, second world country, I do not agree with the whole thing. But if I want to say there is a first world country, it's Japan only. And then, the rest of the world can argue about 2, 3, 4. It's incredible. The Japanese culture is perfectionate, respectful. These people are kind, nice. And I'll tell you a very minor, small experience. We're walking in the street of Japan. I want to go to, and I had a massive list of restaurants to visit. I had 5 meals a day. So I go, on multiple occasions, not one. You ask someone in the street that doesn't speak English, a Japanese guy, very well groomed, standing in front of a restaurant, looks like he's the owner. And I show him a restaurant that I want to go, and it's 25 minutes walk. And he could not communicate and show me the way. He grabs my hand, walks me there 25 minutes to get me to the restaurant. And he's going to go back. So it's like he wasted an hour of his life.
No way.
And it happened twice to me on the trip. And I'm like, wow. No one in Japan, you stop in the street to ask anything and they will just, simply ignore you. They'll stop, they'll pull their phone, they'll get their Google Translate, and they'll start to communicate. So there is no garbage bins in the street. It's a very fascinating country, and the perfection. They're slow and fast in their pace in a weird way. They're very progressed, but they also take their time. It's very interesting how clean the city is for a mega city of that size. How respectful this culture is. How organized. Food for me is, I don't think so. And I can give them the best in the category in fish and meat and steak and I love ramens. I did something very weird. I went to the hotel concierge and I was like, I want to know what is the dirtiest alley in Tokyo, or what is where is the industrial area of Tokyo. He was like, I've been working here for 25 years as concierge. This is the weirdest question about. He told me, can I ask why? I told him, I want to go there. I want to see, maybe this is all, a makeup, a setup. I want to go see the actual weird. I want to see how the blue color.
Where's the backyard?
Yeah. Where's So I actually he was like, okay, you're weird, but okay. He gave me an address, and I went and I dined, and I had ramen in a restaurant, and it was clean. People were groomed. Yes, it's an industrial area, but the streets were clean. I was like, wow. I wanted to see the ugly side of Tokyo, and I couldn't.
Wow, that is fascinating. But I think not surprising at all. I haven't had the opportunity to visit Japan yet. It has somehow eluded me always. But of all that I know about Japanese culture, I love it so much. Apart from, of course, we all love Japanese food, but I love that culture mostly for they side with quality. Their integrity and authenticity is massive.
Yeah.
The loyalty in that culture, in business, keeping your promise, handshake deal still counts. You're right. They're weird, slow and fast. You're right. I mean, I love that articulation, because that's exactly how I look at them, because they can take forever, for documentation, for literally going through the details of, everything. But once they commit to you, they commit to you.
Yeah, I after I came from Japan, half of the office has to suffer, because I was like, guys, we have to do things the Japanese way now. If somebody comes to me without a notebook, I was like, please, it doesn't work. You have to be organized.
I see her nodding. Yeah, that's a nod of a sufferer.
Because honestly, they do things if you do things perfectly, you don't have to do them twice. You don't have to really, just take your time, analyze, do it properly first time and finish. And, you don't really have to do one thing 10 times in order to, there's no hit and miss.
But it's funny. I actually wonder, with their kind of attitude, where is the risk-taking Japanese people, and, where is that, building things or imagining things out of thin air? I don't know, how does that fit into because whatever I have seen so far of Japanese people is exactly what you're saying, right? Very proper, structured, almost risk-averse from the optics of it and, how they do it.
Old Japan, which I didn't know, and I think my perception was about Japan before I go that, it's all mega companies. All Japanese are entrepreneurs. All of them have side businesses, small shops. If you go to Tokyo, most of the restaurants are 12 to 20 seaters. Everyone, and there is much higher number of restaurants per capita, more than Dubai by much. So everybody have a side hustle. They have an art gallery. They do a side business. They sell fish, and so they do many businesses.
Really?
So, yeah. You will, if you go to, and that was very interesting for me in Osaka when I went. You look at the building, and I'm talking about tiny building. The whole building is like maybe 1,000 square meter. There is 85 restaurants in that building. Every floor have 25 to 30 restaurants, and the restaurant is no bigger than 30 to 40 square meters. It's like the size of this room. And I was like, guys, how do you have so many, signages on one building? There is a signage of 55 restaurants on a tiny building. And people go, and, every person, and you will see a banker in the morning that works as a sushi chef at night. It is not something that you would expect to see.
I never knew this. In fact, my understanding of Japanese culture is that, from a job perspective, from a business perspective, they're perfectionists, and they frown upon moonlighting, or something else, because, most of the people are going to spend 12 to 14 hours at work, in general. Like, people die in Japan of exhaustion on their desk. It's a capital of people dying in a cubicle. But this is weird. I've never heard this before.
No,
that they have a side hustle. Where do they get time for a side hustle?
They all invest. They all do small businesses. If you see, half of the brands that you see is born one-off, and you have those small stuff. Yes, you have big Japanese brands, but if you really look at it, they're all Americanized. All the Japanese stuff really happens in the US, and Nobu, Hakkasan, Zoma. They all get born out of Japan. In Japan, there is the majority of the culinary scene is actually small, compact restaurant, 10 to 15 people. And what we were saying, there's a very popular ramen place there. So just so you know how the owner, if I'm not mistaken, took 2 years to bought the restaurant or rented it, developed it, and stayed for 2 years doing two things, the ramen and the broth. I don't have stamina to stay 2 weeks to perfect a recipe. And I would get bored. I would, guys, okay, finished. Let's wrap it up. And it's okay. This guy took 2 years. Can you imagine waking up every day, 6 days a week as well? I was like, guys, okay, he didn't allow himself another day off, 6 days a week, 8-10 hours a day to do the same thing. It's incredible. Nobody in the world, I don't know of, and it's humanly not possible for you not to get bored, and he stayed until he perfected. But now he sells the ramen for, I think, $100. So, and he sells 250 clients a day, and he's not interested. You have to queue.
And still like one store.
Yeah, same place.
Yeah, you're right. I think most of the Japanese brands that came out, like for example, I'm in Bay Area. I'm in Palo Alto, and one of my favorite places there is Ramen Nagi. And Ramen Nagi came out of Japan, but then I think spread across the world. So
yeah,
I think as soon as the Americans got hold of something, they could really.
They know how to do franchise, and it's still our one of our team in Brunch Cake. She's American. She used to work for Americana and Shaya. They know the franchise system better than anyone. They're the masters of this. Not the Europeans. They know how to do the scale. Because it also comes naturally for them. The same country has over 50 states, and if you want to go. We don't think of it. If you have a business in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, you don't look at it but when in the US, it's a different country between one state and the other. So
this is your first time franchising a business or franchising a brand.
Yeah.
What are you learning? What's been the learning curve like?
It's completely different. Running a restaurant, we own Canary Club. We own several restaurants in Doha. A franchise, what I've learned is it's all about systems and procedure, and not about all these manuals. We don't use them even. We use video, how to convert. It's all about how you manage to convert the know-how from point A to B. It's all about how that your mindset have to be calibrated when you go to a new country. Some brands will tell you, listen, it's all about preserving the quality, and it has to be the same taste and consistency. In my view, yes, it's very important, obviously. But at the same time, I go to India, that the dietary expectations are completely different. The taste and flavor, you have to localize. So we do it differently. We say we adapt the design with every country we go. Yes, our design, our wood, our elements, our style, the structure, and overall, you go into that place, it's a brunch cake. But at the same time, I go to a place on the beach, and I go to a place in the mountain. They're two different programs. The ingredients is two different places. So we localize a lot. The biggest learning was for me is the team that you surround yourself with. I have a very good team. Funny enough, we're like 98% female-driven company. They all laugh like I feel women are more strong in multitasking. I'm personally a monorail. I don't know how to multitask at all. If somebody interrupts me, I completely. So while women can really multitask, and I love men, I feel is a little bit more drama at work. We're less drama in life, more drama at work. And so my team is and they have pride in Brunch Cake. They've been with, I laugh, it's a Catholic marriage. You come in, if you're good, you'll never leave. So my chef has been with me for 6 years. Half of the team is 6 to 10 years with the company, and it's very, I don't want to say loose. kind of environment. It's very casual. Our office is a warehouse. We have a cat. Is a very cool work setup. We're not gonna tell you if you're half an hour late. As long as you finish your work and you do your thing, and they come early, they leave late because they like it and they take ownership in it. And I feel every CEO job, if you have someone good, it's your job to keep them. It's your job to make them want to stay. It's not very mechanical. They travel and they have fun, and we really have fun when we travel to any destination. And we go and sometimes we party at night, and the next day we wake up and we come back at 4 a.m. But at 8 a.m. both of them are in the kitchen and running. So for me, it's making it a little bit fun and work, but it has to be structured and mechanical sometimes. You have to convert. You have to be serious about making your partners successful. I don't look at it as franchise. I feel, and the whole team as well, that we're partners in this restaurant. Sometimes we're pushy with some of our franchisees. It's as if it's our money, but it is. You are a partner in this business. You have a stake in their revenue and their success. So I'm a very sour loser, as if you look at the history. Every time I get and you learn. So I hate failing, and I've learned that what. I need to make it successful. And, every venture we went in kept flipping around until it became a success. So
a lot of people fail at franchising, and a lot of brands have failed at franchising, not because they couldn't find a partner or they couldn't find a market fit on the brand. But my question was mostly around a lot of brands fail because, they couldn't localize, because they couldn't rally their partners to do the right thing, to have the right cost structure, or to have the right practices, or to follow the SOPs correctly. And at some point when a brand believes, for example, for me, I think the biggest examples are, as we were talking about, American brands. Some of the largest American brands have gone to open like 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 stores, Starbucks, Subway, McDonald's, although, people may call it a QSR and less cooking and all of that. But I believe that they did it because they could do it, because great auditing structure, their franchisee partner is not in control, per se. Even if it's a franchisee operated store, they still are at the perils of the auditor, and then brand can reprimand them if required. Brunch and Cake is still early, it's still nascent,
yeah.
Right? What are you doing about that part?
I don't think so. We'll ever be 1,000 branch brand. It's much easier to control because we're a lifestyle brand. When in a country that Joe and the Juice wants 50 stores, we want 5. So the size makes it easier to manage. Second, there's so many layers. We have companies today that are global, similar to GWR, and that do weekly inspections. We do mystery diners in every branch globally once a week. So we have our hands on the pulse all the time. How is the service in India? How is the service in Egypt? And we have something called Grandma Score. So, our slogan is, "In Grandma We Trust." So Grandma Score is a complex mix between online score, your Googles, your TripAdvisors, 20% our audits and our visits, and we do like every quarter, and then we do the 50% based on GWR and similar, your mystery diners, your HACCP. So the most too complex is to make sure that you're clean, you're up to standard, and your service is decent. And in these mystery diners, we get the picture of the dish, the whole table. So we have hands on pulse on weekly basis, and we have this system that we put. It has your marketing, our audit. So it gives us a bit of closer view. If we had 1,000 branches, it will get much more complicated. But in principle, been able to manage it because it's smaller, and our aspiration is not to go to that size. In Ola's, maybe yes, and that's why Ola's is a monotone, is one look. It doesn't change. It serves a closed menu. There is no change in the menu. It's just a little bit robotic. While Brunch and Cake is not. Brunch and Cake is fluid a little bit, you know. The menu adapts sometimes, change sometimes, the design change. So yes, we're able to maintain the standard. We're able to keep a certain threshold on how the brand looks like, but adapting it with the right partners as well. And the biggest thing I think that we were lucky with so far is we handpick, without mentioning names, we had a massive company, one of the big operators in India, wanted to have Brunch and Cake. And they have, one of the biggest brands in the world for fast food. And I said no. And my partner were like, Amjad, are you mad? How the hell do you say no? I said, who am I speaking to? I'm very far on the food chain to speak to the owner and CEO, and most likely I'm going to deal with a brand manager. If tomorrow they start to sell falafel in the menu, how do I speak to these? And they're so powerful and they're so strong. So I picked someone on my size. I picked a lifestyle operator who owns Akina, Opa, and a couple of these brands in India, where I'm dealing directly with the owner. He's invested in the business. He visits the outlets once a week. He's there. If there is a problem, I pull the phone and, we shout at each other and we move on. But I know we get to work with like-minded people that is like us, that's invested, that's entrepreneur, that's not massive corporations. So they're invested in the success of the business, and we're not just simply lying on
How did you find them?
They come to us. So far, we have, if we get 4 to 5 franchise requests per day, and we get 4 to 5 signings per year. So we don't work with pure entrepreneurs that want to do F&B and they don't have any experience. You have to be a reputable operator that have done 4 to 5. I don't want 1,000 restaurants. I want you to have 4 or 5 successfully run. And our partner in Egypt owns one of the most successful sports bars. In India, they own all of these brands. In Bahrain, they own Cinnabon, they own Miniso. So they're all, but I deal directly with the owner. So, and when I sign off every outlet globally, I pick the location with them. I can't do this if it's 1,000 shops. I can't. So our aspiration is, we're ambitious, but we're also very well grounded. We want to keep this alive at least for another 20 years.
Amjad, what do you do to keep yourself enriched? What do you do for your own learning apart from travel? We covered that.
I try and do some podcasts, and I'm a very digital learning person. I was horrible at school. I failed every math class almost throughout my life. I have feasibility studies stamped by PwC that I created today. So it's like, just learned that if you put a dollar sign, then I know how to crack the code. But I'm a very emotional person when it comes to my friends, and so most of I'm a very social person. I'm an introvert, social at the same time. If we're friends, then you will see me loud and so I recover by having people around me. I enrich myself by travel, by now more and more I'm trying to lose weight, trying to work on myself in order to progress. rarely do these things. I hate camera. I become a Chandler all of a sudden. The moment you put me in front of a camera, I get stressed. So I try to break those fears. I try to say, okay, the stuff that I'm not comfortable with, I need to start to improve myself. I need to start to do it. I'm speaking in a seminar on Monday, and I said, you know what? I hate it. I don't feel comfortable doing it all the time. You know what? I need to start to break the chain of the stuff that I normally don't do, in order to grow, in order to improve, character, charisma. Yeah.
Amjad, this is a fantastic story and a great conversation. I think
Thanks.
there's a lot to reflect and learn, from this. Just pure inspiration. I strongly believe that people in the world, insights are overrated, inspiration is underrated at times, right?
Sure.
So someone's story at times just inspires you, more than it can give you insights. Everybody has their own insights and their way to get it.
Sure.
So I'm sure this story is going to inspire a lot of people. And thank you for doing this. All the
Thank
best
you.
for
It's a
Brunch and
pleasure.
Cake and all the good work that you're doing.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.